When the Apple Watch was released 6 years ago, there were mixed reviews about the first edition. However, since then, Apple has released 6 total editions, which have built up more and more hype with every new model. Now it's the most popular watch for running in the world. But here's why you should not buy the Apple Watch for running. So that I'm not too biased, I asked both my roommates what they thought about the Apple Watch.
So I actually did own the Apple Watch in the past. When I did own it, I used it for about a week and realized that I wasn't using it at all. I have my old trusty Garmin Forerunner 25, so I sold it after owning it for a week. I have not considered buying one since.
The Apple Watch is like a really cool piece of tech because it's kind of versatile in many ways. It does a lot of things kind of well. It's a jack of all trades and the master of none. But for running specifically, will it do it great? Nah. It's a fun watch if you're a hobby jogger, but it's not the best if you're a hardcore training athlete.
So that's what my roommates Tristan and Zach think, but I want to go into a lot more depth on why the Apple Watch is the worst watch for running. Before we get started, let me just set one thing straight. The Apple Watch is a great watch. If you're a casual runner or just someone who's looking to get active, the Apple Watch is a great choice for you. It can really help you to get motivated to go outside and get some exercise, but it is not great for those who run consistently. When my Garmin broke back in July,
oh my god. Wow. That was crazy.
Oh my god.
I guess I'm running without a watch.
I was forced to use the Apple Watch for the last 3 months. Over those 3 months, I began to realize how much I truly hate this thing. Also, one thing that should be said is that for my runs, I record with the exercise app that comes with the Apple Watch. And now with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get into why the Apple Watch is so bad for the serious runner. The first concern that I have with the Apple Watch is actually pretty serious. A lot of people who use the Apple Watch really depend on accurate heart rate to see underlying medical conditions and just monitor their heart rate throughout the day, making sure it doesn't get too high or too low. I've been running competitively for several years now, which basically means that on most easy runs, my heart rate should be pretty relaxed. I shouldn't be maxing out my heart rate on an easy 20-minute run around the block. An easy run means a heart rate of 140, 150, around that range. However, even on my easiest runs, literally the easiest possible runs, the Apple Watch consistently records my heart rate over 200. So on this run here, I ran 4 miles in just under 7:30. And by the end of the run, the Apple Watch had my heart rate recorded at 203, which is just ridiculous. I mean, who knows? Maybe my heart rate is just horrible. Maybe I actually am exerting max effort on every single run, but something tells me that's probably not true at all. Accurate heart rate tracking is essential for a fitness watch, not only because so many people rely on it for training, but also base health. It's impossible to really know how tough a workout is without that precise heart rate measure, so that you know what's hard for you and what's not. Even if your body is telling you something different, the heart rate provides a constant measure. One of the most basic things when it comes to a GPS watch is accurate GPS data. I mean, what is the point of buying a GPS watch if it can't tell you accurate distance and pace? Knowing these 2 stats helps you know your current fitness and also what workouts you should be doing in the future. However, the Apple Watch inaccurately tracks the GPS data. It is consistently off on easy runs. In this run, we did the exact same run, but my pace was 4 seconds faster for no reason. When running with a big group of Garmins, the Apple Watch consistently has a faster pace than the group of Garmins together comes up with. And while I don't really mind it being too off on an easy run, it also epically fails on track workouts. In this workout, I was doing 400 repeats, but you can see every time at the 100 meter, it epically failed trying to record where I was running. So by reporting inaccurate GPS data, it becomes impossible to really know the statistics for the run, which is so important. You need to know if your pace was 7 flat versus 8 flat. You need to know if you've run 6 miles or 8 miles. It's not usually that extreme, but a 10-second pace swing or a quarter mile distance swing is enough to be annoying in everyday training. Ultimately, you buy a GPS running watch for the GPS. You need to know what the correct GPS stats are. And if you aren't getting those stats, there's no reason to buy that watch. So obviously the Apple Watch is gonna end up using more power than the Garmin over time. And to be completely fair and unbiased here, there is a reason for it. The Apple Watch is a much more powerful watch than the Garmin is. It can do so many more things. The GPS data is always on, when the Garmin it's not. But if you are buying a running watch, you only really need the watch to record runs, not do all that other stuff. In my experience, I found that the Apple Watch will cap out battery at maybe 2 runs while it lasts maybe a whole day. The Garmin, on the other hand, can last 5 runs and it will go weeks without a charge if you're not running. If you're someone who is often charging their watch overnight, this might not be as big of a problem, and honestly it hasn't been too big of an issue for me. But if I do forget to charge it overnight, it is such a pain to wake up and find your watch dead when you really need to go for that morning run. Our fourth problem here is honestly one that is very small, but it is extremely annoying to me. So when you're on a run, there are a lot of times where you're forced to stop at a stoplight or stop for a few seconds to go to the bathroom. Normally, this means that the watch stops tracking activity as soon as you hit the pause button to stop the run. However, when the Apple Watch is paused during a run, it continues tracking your movement without tracking any bit of time. So what exactly does that mean? Basically, if you walk around at all while your watch is stopped, the Apple Watch is gonna add that distance to the run without changing the overall time. This means that you're gonna get random spikes in your run that are faster than world record pace, which are gonna completely throw off the overall pace of that run. This is super small and only really matters if you care deeply about the stats like I do, but it can be so frustrating and really just fudges the entire data for the run. With the Garmin, pausing the run pauses the data, which will end up giving you accurate data for only the run sections, not the stoppage time. I just hate when my run should be 740 pace, it's instead 720 because I just briefly walked around in the middle of a stop. To wrap this whole video up, I really despise the Apple Watch as someone who runs quite a bit. The Apple Watch gets the job done, but if you really care about the statistics and everything going on in the run, it is much smarter to buy another watch. Again, just to reiterate, all of the information in this video is based off my personal experience with the watch, so don't take my word for it. Do some more research before you buy a watch, but this is my personal experience on why you shouldn't buy the watch. I would highly recommend the Forerunner 235, which is currently nearly a third of the price of the Apple Watch. So thank you guys all for listening to me rant. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to drop a sub. I'll see you all in the next one.